All right, here we go. Did we lose you,
So
Mark?
no, I was just switching back over here.
Oh, you're switching.
Let me
Okay.
know. Can you guys see my screen again?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So in this group right here, we see if I can find it again. This is a group that Kelly had picked up, and I went in here yesterday and I created this sellers poll. See if it pops up here real quick. It's been a little slow. There it is. So I created that sellers poll yesterday, so a day ago, and you can see it's got 98 votes on it. 43 comments and 98 votes. And
Wow.
just like I was telling Kelly, some of those people may be full of crap. Some of them may be serious and ready to buy right now. Now it's a little bit more difficult because I'm the one who created the poll, and they see James Human create the poll, but Kelly's the one who's actually messaging these people. And so a lot of them are a little bit skeptical because of that. But in reality, if you're a real estate agent or a loan originator, either one, and you don't have people to talk to, these polls give you those people to talk to. You know, and they work like it works the same as like throwing a trout line out there. If I was to throw a trout line out there, or a trout line, and it had a bunch of hooks on it, and I reeled in one day, I might some of those hooks might have caught some fish. Well, I throw it back out there again. I come back the next day, and I pull it in. I might have some more fish on it. Well, these poles kind of work like that. You'll where like yesterday, she had like a total of like 40 something votes. Now it's up to 98 votes. So that's 50 more people that at least took the time and effort to click on how much they think they would sell their house for. Granted, some of them, like I said, may be full of crap, but even if it took me less than 30 seconds to create this poll. If you create that poll and within 30 seconds, I mean, within a few minutes, you get like 20 votes on it, well, some of those people may really be interested. And even if you only picked up one seller on a poll that I created less than 30 seconds, well, guess what? You could create this poll in other groups, and that's why it's very important. Like I was talking about yesterday, we had some really good Zooms yesterday, and it's very important to be consistent when it comes to joining groups, searching different names, area codes, that kind of stuff for those groups, but also too to be taking that nesty plunge and creating some posts in those groups, creating some polls in those groups, and just trying to get traction to get people that you can talk to. Because at that point, it's just a matter of building relationships. Messaging the right thing, keeping it short and sweet, and then seeing how interested they really are, because they may not be interested right now. Like you said, Sam, it might be a situation where the rates are up in the sevens, high sixes. Maybe they can't afford the same kind of house, but if they have a lot of equity, and that's something you can explain to them. If, let's say, they're sitting on a $500,000 house and they've got 200,000, $300,000 in equity, well, they can go put that down on another house
Hmm.
that they find, and they can get that payment pretty close to where it is right now. You know, and because I've thought about that myself. I thought about, well, my house has got a few $100,000 in equity. If I wanted to sell it, I could sell it, go put that down on a little bit more expensive house, and get my payment close to where it is right now, and have a brand new house. So it is
Absolutely.
possible. So that extra equity you're talking about definitely does help us as far as that goes. But in this situation here, I told Kelly, since I was the one who created the poll, when she messaged the people to say, "Hey, I work with James. Thanks for commenting on our home selling poll. Are you ready to sell your house now, or you got some work you need to do to it first?" So just kind of keep it short and simple on these polls, whether it be seller polls or the buyer polls. But we had a really good Zoom yesterday. We talked about and of course today I'm on my phone and on my desktop because I know Sherry wanted me to show her some text replacements and how I set them up. Um, but the main thing is to be consistent when it comes to creating these polls out there.
Hmm.
To be consistent when it comes to creating posts and to be joining new groups, but also too, like I think yesterday we probably had a total of like maybe 5 or 6 people, 7 people kind of pop in and out on the first Zoom, 4 or 5 on the second Zoom. And almost everybody I talk to, not one person goes to a Facebook group and actually searches for a sell by owner. Now, when I was a realtor in the 90s, and I'm going to say hello to Michelle out in Atlanta too. Hope you're doing good.
Hi,
You
Michelle.
see you pop on.
Doing great. Thank you.
When I was on when I was in at Coldwell Banker in the mid 90s, they used to tell us that, hey, you want to find for sale by owners, Marty. This is before social media. You need to either get a newspaper and be sure every day you're looking in the newspaper and see if somebody actually posted their house in the newspaper, but also to get in your vehicle and drive around and look for those for sale by owner signs.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can go to any Facebook group out there. Let me share my screen again. I shouldn't have turned it off. I don't know why I turned it off for on the share part. You can go to any Facebook, and we'll just do it in that group that we was just in right here, the Cape Coral group of the Kellys that she had picked up. And you can see I give her some advice too. That was the cover photo what was on the right-hand side. And I said, Kelly, you need to have your real estate information on that cover photo too. That's your group now. 10,000 people is going to get notified of a photo change. Let them know you're a realtor, But if I go to this group and I hit the search button and I type in home for sale, and this is a big key. If you have an Android, you need to do this on your desktop and not on your Android. Because for some reason, when you do this on Android, you don't get this little tab right here that says view post. But on iPhone, you do. And even on your desktop, you do. But you want to hit view post because this is going to take you away from marketplace. And then when you scroll down here and you look for a house, well, there's one right there that's sold. That one's sold for $350,000. And even me personally, as a loan officer, I'm going to go in there and comment, hey, super nice house, great job getting it sold. If you didn't get it, if you didn't purchase a new house yet and you're still looking here and you got a 580 credit score and 2 years job history, here's a link to my application. The same way as if you had a homes for sale group, you could go in there on this post, even though it's a sold house, you can say, hey, great job getting your house sold. It's a beautiful house. If you're still looking for another house, here's my link to my new homes for sale group. Feel free to join it and drop it into the comments, because you're not really focused as much on the person trying to sell the house or who sold the house as much as you're focused on all the new people that's going to come and look at this house, and they're going to look in the comments and they're going to see your link to your homes for sale group. Then it would scroll down a little bit more. Here's another one. And so if you notice, when you go to Marketplace, you don't get this option to be able to comment. These are people who actually bypass Marketplace. They start a discussion and they sold their house under the discussion tab. And now here's a house here. I can comment on this house. Hey, beautiful house. I'd be happy to help you sell it or help you get it sold. You can feel free to post it inside my homes for sale group, and then send that person a friend request. Send them a message directly that says, hey, by the way, I've made a comment on your house with my link to my homes for sale group. If you ever have any problems or you can't get it sold for some reason, or if you don't think you get enough out of it, I'd be happy to list it for you. I could list on the MLS. You could use other platforms that you use to help you kind of sell it. Ron Daly, he has control of Facebook groups around Middle Tennessee, around his area, with over 1 million members. So he's been using that as leverage of saying, hey, if you let me list your house, I've got 1 million member audience ready to go. I'll put on all my cover photos. So just think about that when it comes to having some way to use leverage for yourself to get people to want to let you list their house, because obviously they know that they can find a real estate agent pretty much anywhere, just like you find a loan officer pretty much anywhere. But you want to find somebody who sets themselves apart, and you've got to be a salesman in a way to say, hey, you need to let me be the one to list your house. But the great thing about commenting on these houses, like I said, is you're going to find other people, not just a person selling this house. You're going to find other people that's looking for a house, and they're going to reach out to you and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying a house, or hey, I'm thinking about selling a house. So kind of keep that in mind. Also, too, going back to what you were talking about yesterday, Sherry, as far as setting up my text replacement. Now, remember, when you're using an iPhone, of course, Android's a little different. You got to download that app called TextSpan, aka used to be Text Expander. They kind of go back and forth. But if you go under my general and under keyboard and under text replacement, you're going to see that I've got different ones set up. I've got one that's QL, what is stopping you from buying the house that you're living in. So I like finding those people too, as a loan officer for sure, that are actually living in a house that they want to buy. And the great thing about that is, even as a realtor, you find those people. Well, guess what? Somebody's selling that house. Whoever's selling that house, It may have been an investment property. They may be wanting to buy another investment property. You get to find that out by creating these kind of polls. But I'll actually go to my text, and I'll pull myself up here, and I'll text something to myself, because I got two different phones. But you can just text it to anybody in general, or you can just type it up. But if I go in here and I type something up, and let's say I just typed all that up, well, then I want to go here and I want to select all, copy it, and then I would go over to my text replacement. So that's for me personally. And just like I was telling you about using that group yesterday, Sherry, you could go to this group here. And this is the reason I created this group, is to go into this group and go into the comments like that, where I've got these comments in here. Maybe view previous comments. And I've got the answers for, like, if they say that income's a reason, I got the answer for that. Well, I can actually press down on this, copy it, go to my text replacement, hit the plus button, put the phrase right there. And in this case, since income was the one I'm talking about, I would do Z income. So that way I can always remember it.
Oh,
Go
okay.
go back to it again. Copy this one, go to my text replacement. And so that way I've got my messages ready to go. You know, I don't have to go look for them. I can just put this in ZDP.
Okay.
And that way, you just got to do something that you're going to be able to remember. But that's the easiest way, even for that seller's poll. If I go back in there to the seller's poll, which I got to scroll on down a little bit for it. Try here, and there's the comment for it. Press down on that, copy it, and in this one, I would probably have this one as a ZSP if I don't have it already. Yep, ZSP for seller's poll, or Z sellers, just so I remember. Save that. So now I know if I create that poll out there that's, trying to find home sellers, well, then now I've got my text replacement ready to go to send them a message, and I don't have to worry about trying to always type it back out. Copy and pasting is going to land you in Facebook jail or Messenger timeout pretty quick. So kind of keep that in mind. It just makes it super simple.
I like that.
Yeah, that was really the main reason I even created that extra group, because almost every bit of this stuff is in the Google Classroom. But I know when you're in the Google Classroom, it gets a little difficult trying to type everything out, and then then you're trying to go to your text replacement and you're trying to type it out. But you can do that too, but you're always better off typing out as a text or in your messenger than it is trying to type it out inside that text replacement. Because if you try to type it out under a phrase inside the text replacement, you can't see everything. It only shows you part of the paragraph. And it gets kind of difficult trying to figure out exactly where you are, commas or spaces or whatever.
Okay.
Because it kind of loops. It kind of loops around.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a video somewhere where you set up the polls? Like show us how to set it up in text replacement?
It seems like I did. I'm pretty sure that I had a video for that. I'd have to go back there and look and see. I know if you go to that same group, that Realtors MLO posts and polls, you'll see a video showing me use the text replacement, creating a poll or creating a post. But I'm pretty sure I had one. But if not, just like I was telling Sam a few minutes ago, some of my videos are a little outdated. It's time to start making some newer videos. So I can definitely put a video like that together and drop it into our Buzz Team group by either tonight or tomorrow. I'll do that for you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Because even for example, the polls, if you have an Android and you actually paid for the text replacement, because they usually recommend that go ahead and pay for it. It's not a real big fee for life. If you're typing up anything that is inside your text replacement, it will actually pull a list up for you of your text replacements if it looks familiar. We're on an iPhone. You've got to really do a good job, and both of them you need to do a good job of this. But on the iPhone, you need to try to match up whatever your poll is going to be to your options. Now, here's the thing: when I create a seller's poll, hey Kelly, what's up? When I create a seller's poll, I don't actually that one that says, hey, I got people wanting to move to Knoxville, Tennessee. What's a reasonable offer you can take for your house? I don't have the 100,000 or the under 200,000, the 300,000 and 400,000. I don't have that in my text replacement. There's very small numbers to top out. So typically I just keep the main body of the poll, my text replacement on that one. And then I just do it myself as I'm creating a poll. And what I mean by that, I'll kind of show you real quick. Kelly, do you have any questions while we're on here?
No.
Are you having any luck with that poll?
It was up to 97 last time I looked about an hour ago.
Yeah, I think we're at 98 right now because we went look
Oh,
at that
sweet.
a minute ago.
Congratulations, Kelly.
Oh, thanks. Hope I get something out of it.
Yeah, congratulations. You're
Well,
doing good.
I'd also say this too. Maybe next week, create the same poll. Create the same poll, and since you're the one creating it, you may have better luck because it does look a little odd that a guy named James Humans, if that lives in Tennessee, is creating this poll, and you're the one messaging the people. So sometimes that could be a little odd. But here's a good example. I go in here and I hit the copy button on this right here. So if I'm going to put this in my text replacement, or if I'm going to create a poll with it, first let's go put it in my text replacement because I don't know if I have that one on my phone anyway. And I'm going to save this one as, let me see, make sure I don't have it, ZSP. I don't think I do. All right, so I'm going to save that as ZSP. So now I know that's my seller's poll. Now in this poll, for example, and you guys can see my screen okay, right?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So I'll just go to one of my groups here. And I'll hit the discussion button where you write something. I'll scroll down and hit the poll option. Now you'll see that the first thing I want to do is unclick that top one. I don't want to allow members to add options. But right here's where I would start my options at. Now a lot of times I don't have these right here in my text replacement. But they're so easy to type out, 200K to 300K. And typically if something's under 200K, most of the time it's a fixture upper, and sometimes you'll see me even write the word fixture upper next to that under 200K.
So in my area, I want to go under 500,000 since California is so high.
And then you would put down next to that under 500,000, you'd put fixture upper. If that's kind of the range, would be a fixture upper. But now you can see right here, I can just use my text replacement, and then I need to change this because I'm not in Cape Coral. So remember that you just change it to where you are.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got my Facebook group back. Somebody hacked me and started putting out ads for like $800.
Woo.
So and then I wasn't able to get back into my Facebook group. They created a bogus email address off of my email address, and I had to send them my driver's license to get back into my account. So I completely changed my passwords and everything. But yeah, that was last 2 days. I was stressing out about my Facebook group. I'm like, okay, what are they going to do to my Facebook groups in there? Well, I can't access it.
Oh wow, Sam.
Yeah.
Oh,
so but you got it all back and everything's good now?
Yeah, I'm up and running again.
Awesome. What's up, Rob?
You was able to get in touch with Facebook for that?
Yeah, you have to. I did a lot. Well, I used ChatGPT a lot, so I actually did. I searched ChatGPT to find out what my best method to get into there.
Okay.
And to now I'm going to have backup phone numbers. Like I'll have my wife's phone number and I'll have my wife's email address in there. So that way, if I ever get locked out, I can just have my wife let me back in. So that's something you guys should learn. If you have a Facebook account, make sure you have somebody you trust, maybe a friend, a family, that if you ever get locked out, you put them as your emergency access.
Oh, emergency access. Okay.
Yeah, you want to put them as your emergency access. So if you ever lose your Facebook account, they can get you back in. Or I mean, you can even use Marty. I mean, always reach out to Marty and say, "Hey, Marty, I'm locked out. Help me."
Can we do that? We do it on a personal page? Can we do it in the group? And also our Facebook page, or just do it on the personal page?
Well, your main Facebook page that you create, you wanna do it there because it should go through the rest of your
The
groups.
rest of whatever group, okay.
Yeah,
I-
it should, because that's your main access to your Facebook.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Thanks
and
for
I'd
sharing
and
that.
I'd probably use a family member. No, and whatever you do, if you use me, don't use my telephone number, because that's how I lost my second account. Is I got nervous. They wanted me to verify who I was and wanted me to put my telephone number in. Well, I put my same telephone number in that was associated with my main account.
Oh man.
Yeah. So lessons learned. Just take your
Oh.
time, and a lot of times, like the other day, one of our Buzz team members, she's like, hey, I just got locked out. Lisa Turner out in Texas. She just got locked out well, I think they just want her to verify who she was, but she had it back open within 5 minutes.
They're being tough right now, though, Marty. They're being really tough.
I had a spell where like I got locked out for what, and it was weird because it was just randomly like all of a sudden I couldn't access my Facebook account, and it took a solid month and a half of trying different verification methods, everything else. They asked me to send in my ID. They asked all kinds of crazy stuff, and then just randomly one day I was like, I'm gonna check it out and see what's going on, and I logged in with like nothing. So I don't know what their deal is sometimes, but it does get crazy. So.
And are these things, did you all have your two-step ID process and everything, and it still went awry?
Yeah, it was weird because I had the two-step ID, and one of them was email, and I looked at the email, and the email wasn't even a email that I had. It had like a 0 in it. They took my email address that was on file, and they like added something to it and used that as a way to verify. So it was complicated. It got complicated.
How do you think it got hacked, Sam? Do you think you clicked on something to give them access to your email? How'd they find your email address out in the first place?
You know what? I don't click on anything. Only thing I think of is maybe somebody in one of my groups maybe was upset about not being able to get into the group or something. I don't know.
I always wonder that, because I've heard that a couple times. Like for me, I know how I lost my main account, and it was somebody that was it was an ex-employee trying to sabotage me pretty much. And when I lost my main account, at that point I wasn't really worried about it. That was when I was going through a divorce. I wasn't too concerned. I just said, you know what, I'll just make up a new account. And then I made my new account up, and I didn't have any problems until I put that old telephone number in there. But I will say all that was before the two-step verification too. So I never have done a two-step verification. I ain't even done it on they tried to get me to do it on my new account. And if I did, I don't think I did. But I've gotten, like the other day when it happened to Lisa, her stuff was open back up within 5 minutes. It wasn't even shut down on my end, but for her, they was just wanting her to verify it, because she had went from not doing a lot on Facebook to doing a lot on Facebook, and that's usually what happens when somebody don't do a lot on Facebook. Then all of a sudden they start running 100 miles per hour through these Facebook groups, or joining groups, or messaging people. Then sometimes you'll notice a little slowdown by Facebook. Even you said it, Kelly, that when you're messaging all those people, they kind of put you a little messenger timeout, because you're messaging people who are not your friends. But you got to remember, there's loopholes around about all of this stuff. Like over the years, you could go to that same poll that you created, and you could tag people in that poll and tell them to message you. And even though you're in messenger timeout, they'll still be able to message you. And then you can just answer them that way. That's where the problem runs into, is when you start sending too many messages to people that are not your friends on Facebook. Because trust me, it happens to me a lot too. Yeah. Facebook it can be real finicky when it comes to that. It's like a trade-off. You got to be careful. You got to do everything in moderation. But at the same time, we're getting to find these people for free and not having to pay for it. You just got to watch Facebook and their little peakiness about everything. And trust me, I've done this for years, and I've seen about everything possible that could happen. In the old Facebook, the old days, they wouldn't even let us know how long we was going to be in Facebook jail for. You know, you might be in Facebook jail for a month back in the old days, you know, and I have been. And then all of a sudden, boom, I'm open back up, or it's, you know, it's everything's golden. But nowadays, it seems like if they do put you on like any kind of timeout period or Facebook jail period, like for example, they say, well, you've been posting too much in the groups, you can't post for 2 weeks. So I usually tell you it's 2 weeks or 7 days or 3 days or whatever. So that's probably the only thing I can see that they've improved on over the years. You know,
I was gonna say I just got hit with and there was no notification. Just I found out because I tried to make a comment on a post in a group, even the groups that I control and manage, where it was like you can't your group activity is restricted for the next 3 days. Like I'm not able to comment on posts. So yeah,
it's weird.
Funny.
And there's never been, I've had so many people tell me, well, they know exactly why they got put in Facebook jail. They know exactly what happened, yada, yada, yada. But over the years, we've proved it a million times over again that they've got their terms of service rules, their terms of service agreement, but that's as far as they go to letting us know what happened. You know, they don't tell us exactly what we did wrong. And that's one thing I've always hated about Facebook is they don't let us know, hey, you did this too many times. You know, I tagged over 200 some people one time before I finally got put in Facebook jail. You know, like tagged them into comments, and just to see how many people. But the crazy thing is, I've also tagged 20 something or 30 people before and got put in Facebook jail. So they didn't really give us an exact time or exact reason, and so a lot of it's probably like a compilation of what all you're doing out there. It's probably an overall picture of, okay, you've joined this many groups, you have messaged this many people, you have, you know, created this many posts or this many polls in the groups. So, and that's another reason why it's something I've definitely noticed, even for me myself. I go create a lot of posts and polls in the groups that I manage, and I don't hardly ever run any kind of flack whatsoever. But if I was creating the same amount of posts and polls in everybody else's groups, I'd probably find myself in Facebook jail a little bit more. You know, because there'll be times where I create 10 or 15, 20 polls a day, where I'm telling everybody now that you're better off being consistent, only creating like 4 or 5 polls a day, 5 posts a day, join 5 or 10 groups a day. Just be consistent with it, but keep it on those lower numbers like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was actually I was going to ask you about that, Marty, because I know for a long time. I'm kind of re-engaging the whole Facebook group thing recently. And I know for a long time, like my number was always right at 10, like literally my spreadsheet's built out in 10 group sections. And I was always able to go through and do 10 at a time, 10 in a day. Have you noticed like that even now 10 is too many in a single day, and it's more, you got to stay more like closer to that 5 number?
No, I think you'd probably still be okay with 10, but I don't think it's necessary these days, though. Like I think now, because the way Facebook has changed their algorithms and they make you do more to get you more exposure, I think you're better off if you just created 5 posts a day, and if you just then maybe do 5 polls a day. You know, and then maybe message. You know, you can message like if I could create like that poll that Kelly created yesterday for that poll there, I would probably message about maybe 10 to 15 people a day. You know, you ain't got to be in no hurry, you know, and honestly, in reality, just for you, Kelly, that quality is going to be better than quantity. You know, if you message 5 or 10 people and you've already got a really good conversation started with one of them, then wait till the next day to message another 5 or 10 people. You know, kind of base it off on how your conversations are going. If you have a great conversation with somebody, then I would focus on that conversation and not really going to worry about trying to message every single person. And that's where a lot of people make mistakes at when they go tag everyone and they get all those comments or they get all those votes on there. They try to message too many people in one day.
Yeah.
And you don't need to.
That's one thing I love about this strategy is speed to lead isn't as important in this game as it is in any others.
Yep. Because even if they're not ready right now, hopefully they'll, you know, now the most important thing ever, and kind of what I was kind of telling Kelly there is that even if they like, you had a few people comment, you had some comment, one guy said 650,000. I'd message that person and say, hey, you say 650,000. Are you ready to sell your house now? Are you ready to list it now? or you got some work you need to do it. But also too, just for the fact that even if they was full of crap, or if they really had no intention of selling whatsoever, they didn't know you as a realtor until we created that poll.
Yep.
They didn't know who Kelly Ford was at all. Now at least they know who you are. Even if they ain't plan on using you right this very second, it doesn't mean you can't back another message up that says, well, hey, you know, we're commission only. I'm trying to really help a lot of people get some houses sold out here, or find some buyers too. If you know anybody that's wanting to ever buy or sell a house, can you do me a favor and send them my direction? Because people like dealing with people that come across as a nice, friendly person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that's where my loan officers, a lot of them, they make mistakes at. They don't take that nasty plunge to ask, and you should ask every customer that you ever have if they know somebody, or if they know somebody looking to buy or sell right now. And if not, hey, can you do me a favor and make sure you mention me if you ever hear of anybody out there?
Mm-hmm.
It's where your best referrals will always come from, is from your clients.
Yeah.
I just wish I could get my loan officers to do that more.
Definitely had some good conversations with people. I mean, just silly, not silly ones, but I mean, there's one, the kid, I don't remember what price they said they would sell their house for, but they live at home with their parents. And it's a struggle just to, you know, work a full-time job and still meet expenses. And I said, hey, I hear you. I got my 24-year-old youngest one at home with us, and our middle kid wants to come home. And I said, the struggle is real. And they said something back. And but you know, they may not be ready to buy now, but even just a simple conversation like that, and, you know, hey, keep the faith, you know, it'll get better, is enough for them to say, hey, I'm making money now. I remember that person.
Right. Yeah. And now you've got this direct link with them through Messenger, where if you
Mm-hmm.
would have knocked on their door and handed them a business card and never really had a conversation with them, you know, that kind of conversation, where now you know that they're living with their parents, you know, that's a whole different ballgame, because they probably would have never called you. Where I've had people message me 2-3 years later, and the only reason they did it is because I had a message with them. You know, I didn't remember who they were, because we go through so many people, we talk to so many people, we message so many people, but they remembered who I was, and they come back and said, hey, I'm ready now. You know, but if I'd give them a business card, chances are I wouldn't have got that business.
Yeah. Then I have another one that, I mean, we chatted for a while. She said she's not going to sell her house because they just like gutted it and remodeled it and reformatted the house, basically redid the whole floor plan, how they wanted to fit their lifestyle. And, you know, we talked a bit about that, and I will definitely keep in touch with her.
Well,
because
you can always ask these people too, have you ever thought about buying an investment property?
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
And if they've got their house and they don't want to do anything with it, and especially if they got equity, maybe they can use some of that equity to buy an investment property. You know,
absolutely, yeah. And
there's people out there, there's companies out there, like I know one, I think it's for FCM, I'm pretty sure, that you don't even have to prove your income. If you have ownership of a house, or you own your house, you don't have to own it outright. But if you bought a house and you can come up, I think it's maybe 25% down, you're going to get approved.
Yep.
You got to have the credit score, I'm pretty sure, but you don't have to worry about proving income at all. You know, so you think about that, you know, 25% of a $500,000 house, what is that, like $100,000, $125,000, whatever, you know? And if some people might have $200,000, $300,000 in equity, and then all of a sudden now they can go own a rental house or an Airbnb house. There's a lot of people out there that's all of a sudden, ever since COVID, ever since 2020, they've turned into investors. A ton of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely around my area. That's for sure.
Well, I remember when I was down in your area, I remembered it seemed like that when we were sitting out there eating dinner that night, that just right across that water was some condos you said that sold for like right around 300, 350,000, something like that. You know, those right there would be, to me, just prime. That's just prime, perfect for like a vacation rental Airbnb type place.
Yeah, those are, I think, the ones I think they're all basically 5 and 6 and up.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while since we ate that dinner, but after it went up. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, hey, if you guys need anything else, I'm fixing to be driving here in a second. So I'm gonna hop off here. But I hope this has been helpful.
Always is.
The brother. Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Marty.
No problem at all. No problem at all. I'll be dropping their Zoom link here in probably a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours.
All right.
You
See you
gonna
soon, Marty.
drop this in so we can look at it, Marty?
Yeah, if Sam's got it recorded, he's more than welcome to.
Sam, I sent you a message. Will you send it to me?
Absolutely. Let me
Thank you.
go into the messages.
Okay. I sent my email to you.
Awesome. Save chat.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Marty.
Hey, no problem. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.
All right.